Hi, I'm Steve, and this is my file and folder permissions video for NOS130. In this video, we will be looking at file and folder permissions, their purpose, and how to add, edit, and remove permissions. The purpose of using file and folder permissions is to allow or restrict access of users or networks to the files and folders on your computer. You can allow full or a limited amount of access to files and folders, or restrict any type of access to the files and folders designated. The permissions for files include full control, modify, read and execute, read, write, and special permissions. Although very similar, folder permissions have an additional element compared to file permissions, which include full control, modify, read and execute, list folder contents, read, write, and special permissions. Although the permissions for files and folders are very similar, individual permissions can have slightly different definitions for either the file permission or folder permission. Full control. For files and folders, full control can enable or disable all permissions for the specified user. Full control should only be activated for an administrator's account. Modify. For files, a user can change the properties of a file, create new files, delete files, write data to files, and view the attributes of files. For folders, a user can change the properties of a folder, create new folders, and also delete folders. Read and execute. For files, the rights enabled by this permission include executing files and viewing the attributes of files. For folders, the rights enabled by this permission include traversing folders and executing files in the folders, listing a folder's content, and viewing the attributes of folders. List folder contents. For folders only, users are able to transverse folders, list the contents of the folder, and view a folder's attributes. Read. For files, this permission enables a user to view files and the file's attributes. For folders, this permission enables a user to view the folder and any subfolders or files stored within the folder. Write. For files, users are able to create new files, change a file's attributes, write data to files, view file ownership and permissions, and overwrite files. For folders, users are able to create new folders, new subfolders, and new files in the folders. A user is also able to change the folder's attributes. Special permissions enable administrators to set precise user access permissions for files and folders. Special permissions is the result of the basic file and folder permissions being split even further into more precise or specific permissions. Special permissions include full control, traverse folder or execute file, list folder or read data, read attributes, read extended attributes, create files or write data, create folders or append data, write attributes, write extended attributes, delete subfolders and files, delete, read permissions, change permissions, or take ownership. As with regular permissions, special permissions may have slightly different meanings for files or folders. Full control. For files and folders, full control can enable or disable all special permissions for the specified user. Full control should only be activated for an administrator's account. Traverse folders and executing file. For folders, traverse folder allows or denies moving through folders to reach other files or folders, even if the user has no permission for the traversed folders. For files, execute file allows or denies running program files. Please note, setting the traverse folder permission on a folder does not automatically set the execute file permission on all files within that folder. List folder and read data. For folders, list folder allows or denies viewing the file names and subfolder names within the folder. List folder only affects the contents of that folder and does not affect whether the folder you are setting the permissions will be listed. For files, read data allows or denies viewing data in the file. Read attributes allows or denies viewing of the attributes of a file or folder, such as read-only and hidden. Read extended attributes allows or denies viewing of the extended attributes of a file or folder. Create files or write data. For folders, create files allows or denies creating files within the folder. For files, write data allows or denies making changes to the file and overriding existing content. Create folders and append data. For folders, create folder allows or denies creating folders within the folder. For files, append data allows or denies making changes to the end of the file, but not changing, deleting, or overriding existing data. Write attributes allows or denies changing the attributes of a file or folder, such as read-only or hidden. Note: with the write attribute, permission does not imply creating or deleting files or folders. It only includes the permission to make changes to the attributes of a file or folder. Write extended attributes allows or denies changing the extended attributes of a file or folder. Extended attributes are defined by programs and may vary by program. Please note, the write extended attributes permission does not imply creating or deleting files or folders. It only includes the permission to make changes to the attributes of a file or folder. Delete allows or denies deleting of files or folders. Delete subfolders and files allows or denies deleting subfolders and files, even if the delete permission has not been granted on the subfolder or file. Read permission allows or denies reading permissions of the file or folder, such as full control, read, and write. Change permissions allows or denies changing permissions of the file or folder, such as full control, read, and write. Take ownership allows or denies taking ownership of the file or folder. The owner of a file or folder can always change permissions on it, regardless of any existing permission that protect the file or folder. To add users to a file or folder permissions, right-click on the desired file or folder and select Properties. Select the Security tab in the Properties window. Click Edit under the group or username selected. Click on Add under the group or username selected. Enter in the new user name desired and click on Check Names. This will locate the username and workgroup for that user. Click on Apply and accept the confirmation window if needed and click OK. To remove a user from file and folder permissions, right-click on the desired file or folder and select Properties. Select the Security tab in the Properties window. Click on Edit under the Group or Username section. Select the user to be removed in the Group or Username section. Click on the Remove button. Click on Apply. Accept the confirmation if any is needed, and click OK. To change a user's permissions, simply highlight the file or folder desired, right-click on it, and select Properties. In the Properties window, click on the Security tab. Now if you highlight the user and look down here in the Permissions for Jen window, the user that I selected, you will see the permissions that are allowed for this user. Now let's say we want to change some of these permissions. Click on the Edit button and a new window will appear. In this new window, highlight the user again. Now let's say for No Touchy, the folder that we had selected, we don't want this user to have any kind of access to this folder whatsoever. I'll come down here to Full Control and click on Deny. As you can see, all the boxes for these permissions have been checked. Click on Apply and accept the confirmation box that appears. Click OK. Again, with the user highlighted, if you look down here in Permissions for Jen, you'll see the Deny is checked for all these permissions. Click on OK. Now let's log over to Jen's account and see if this has worked. Now that we've switched accounts, let's see if we can access our No Touchy folder. There it is, No Touchy. Oh, unfortunately, Jen doesn't have any kind of access to this folder. Too bad, Jen. You won't be able to tell what I'm hiding from you. To change a user's special permission, simply highlight the folder or file that you'd like to change, right-click on it, and select Properties. Click on the Security tab, and click on Advanced. This will bring up a new window. Click on the user that you'd like to change, and click Change Permissions. And again, a new window. Click on the user you'd like to edit, click the Edit button, and it'll bring up all the special permissions for that user. Now for the folder that I'm using as an example, I'm using a music file, and for this file, for the most part, the user can edit any kind of music in there that they'd like to, but there's some music that I'd like to protect. So in the main music file, I'm going to leave, let's see, I'm going to allow them to create files and write data, create folders and append data, write attributes, write extended attributes. I don't want them to be able to delete folders, subfolders and files, or delete any of the music that I've already got there. I know she doesn't like some of my music, so I don't want it to disappear. Click OK. Click Apply. Click Yes on the confirmation. Click OK again, and OK again. Now inside the music folder, let's protect certain files here. Let's see. I know she doesn't like my oldies music, so let's change some of the attributes on here. Not attributes. attributes, special permissions, I mean. Okay. She's probably not going to listen to it, but I don't want to deny full control. So I'll allow her to transverse, list and read attributes or standard attributes. And again, I don't want her to delete any of the files or subfolders. Oops. She can read permissions, she cannot change permissions, and she cannot take ownership. Let's see, she feels about the same way about my classical, so we'll change some of the attributes on it, some of the permissions on it as well. Okay, we'll leave that the same. Alright, now, since we pretty much both like the same type of pop, R&B, rap, and rock and roll, we'll allow her some access to these. Still don't want her to delete any of the music I've already got there, but I would like for her to be able to add to it. Same thing here, I'd like for her to be able to add to it, but not delete any that's already there. Read permissions, cannot change permissions, cannot take ownership. And same thing with this folder. I'd like to be able to write to it, but not delete from it, not change permissions, not take ownership. Alright, now let's see how this has affected her account. I will log back over to her account and we'll see how this works. Okay, we're logged over onto Jen's account. Let's move over to the music file that we created. Test file. There's our music folder. We'll go in. As you can see, she has access to the folders. She's got access to the files. What she should not be able to do, she should not be able to delete any of these files. The beep that you're hearing is the computer asking for a administrator password, which she does not have, and it will not let her delete any of these files without that password. Same in here, you can see the little administrator symbol beside the delete button. It will not allow her to delete any files, but she should be able to add to these files. So let's open up this in a new window. We'll see if we can move some files over here. So you can see she can write to these files. She cannot delete from these files. Certain files I gave her permission to change attributes, or permissions I mean. So let's see if she's able to do that over here. Yeah, she's able to change permissions. She should be able to change special permissions as well. She's got full control. That's in that folder. I believe in this one she's not able to change special permissions and permissions in this folder. So as you can see, there's the little administrator symbol, so she's not actually allowed to change. I'll try to do that. Again, you'll hear the beep, the computer asking for administrator password. Not sure why you cannot see that, but you're not able to see it. But since she does not have administrator password, she cannot change permissions. Same thing with the advanced button. You'll see the little administrator sign right there. She's not able to change special permissions either. She is able to change attributes. And that's pretty much it for special permissions. As you can see, we can use that to change permissions or specific permissions for different files and folders, allowing her limited access to certain folders and limited access to others. You can do this with pretty much any user on your computer. Thanks for watching.